Hey folks, thanks for joining me in another video. I have not done an EDC video in a while, that is an everyday carry video, so I thought I'd bring one to you today. So what you see here is my current EDC. Now that's sort of almost a misnomer because my actual everyday carry changes from day to day. Knife changes, multi-tool. All this stuff gets carried based on a certain need or maybe just on a whim, so a lot of it gets changed around. Some of the core items always stay the same. My keys are always the same. I always carry some sort of flashlight. I always have my Fisher Space Pen, my wallet, my phone, you know, and these core items, knife, multi-tool, pepper spray, these are always going to stay, but some of them, the multi, the knife, what have you, will just switch from one item to another. And I think that's pretty obvious if you watched any of my other videos, or if you've seen any amount of everyday carry videos on YouTube or some other online outlet. I'm sure you've seen that people just swap stuff around. So without further ado, this is, you know, just what I happen to be carrying at this very moment, and I'll kind of go over these items quickly. I'll bring in some other knives from outside the frame to kind of show you some other stuff. I'm kind of cycling through stuff that's popular with me lately, and then I'll try and wrap it up. The flashlight that you see here is the Thrunite Saber 1C. Now this actually was sold to me as the Saber 1A, and the A or the C referring to the type of cell inside. So this has inside it a rechargeable CR123A sized cell. And why don't I just open it up and show you real quick. Now you can see this is a Nite Core branded RCR123A rechargeable lithium ion cell, 650 milliamps. And it is a twist type, so you tighten it down to get the head, you know, relatively stable at the end of the body there, and then when you tighten it all the way down, you will eventually come up to a particular brightness. With the rechargeable cell that's in here, I'm not certain of the lumens, but this, with one single rechargeable RCR123A, this is my brightest flashlight. It's very floody, so it doesn't have a lot of throw. For the brightness, it actually throws very well, but it is not really a real good thrower, and you could kind of tell because it doesn't have an extremely deep reflector, and it doesn't you know, it doesn't have, you know, more than one cell, so it's not really meant to be pushing out a, you know, a very long distance. This is just a very simple floody light, but because of how bright it is on that rechargeable cell, and you do get considerably more lumens out of this unit with a rechargeable cell versus the standard lithium primary cells. It's still extremely throwy. It just happens to be mostly flood, but very, very bright. I don't know the lumens. It does have 3 different brightness settings, so if you tighten it down, you get a particular one. Tighten it again, you get moonlight, then low, which is also insanely bright, medium, and then high, and then back around to moonlight. Actually, I might have said it might be moonlight, medium, high. I might be skipping a mode. Anyway, this was sold as the Saber 1A. I bought this from Amazon.com, and it was you know, intended to be used with a AA cell. And they just give you 2 different little body cavities here. You get the 1A size for the AA sized cell, and then they also give you this one as a little bonus, the 1C for the CR123 sized cell. And that one tends to be my preference, especially now that I have these rechargeable cells. I don't have to spend any more money on them, which is pretty cool. You know, you just pay up front, a little bit of outlay right at the beginning, and then you just recharge your cells as needed. So fantastically small. You can see here, I'll put it next to the Fisher Space Pen. Very short, it's pretty thick. You know, any of the CR123 sized cells are pretty chunky in one's pocket, but I think that the thickness of it is made up for in the long run by the fantastic brightness that you get out of these little guys. I think the size is very convenient overall. Little lanyard hole at the back. Anyway, I typically tend to prefer a clicky, you know, a rear cell or tail cap button clicky type flashlight, but for times that I'm not planning on using my flashlight a lot, or at least I'm not anticipating using it very much, I like that one because it is just so small and so convenient, so extraordinarily bright. Fisher Space Pen, I'll pick that right back up. This is my one and only pen that I carry on my person. I have another pen given to me by a friend that I carry in my Maxpedition bag, which actually doesn't get used that often. I've got the Maxpedition, I think it's the mini or the micro, something like that. And I have a Zebra collapsible pen in that bag. but here in my regular everyday carry, I use the Fisher Space pen. This is the Bullet Edition, the 400B, I believe is the model number. Really cool pen, runs about 20 bucks. This was also gifted to me from a good friend. And I've had no complaints with it. I'm still on the first ink cartridge, and it's been running. It works fabulously. It does work in all conditions. Sometimes you have to scribble with it a little bit to get it to kind of kick off and start writing, you know, with a nice solid black line. But otherwise, I've had absolutely no complaints with it, and it seems to jump into action as needed right away. This was another gift given me from a friend. This was from Stick to Drum here on YouTube. Great guy with a great channel of his own. If you haven't checked out Stick to Drum's channel here on YouTube, please do so. He's got a lot of great videos. Guy's got a great sense of humor, very funny. He's got some really detailed videos, beautiful collection. He just got in some really cool Kershaws and I believe a Zero Tolerance or two that were loaned to him so that he could show those off. So he's got a lot of great content that's already come out and that's still coming out, but check him out for some very entertaining videos. This is the Victorinox Pioneer that he gifted to me, which is an absolutely beautiful thin A-LOX model Victorinox Swiss Army knife. Comes with a single main blade. A lot of times Victorinox Swiss Army knives will have more than one. Just about any brand of Swiss Army knife will have more than one blade. And that's a little bit redundant for me. I typically tend to use just one blade on it, so they sort of forego, you know, using an extra slot for another blade, and instead they give you some other tools. You get your flathead driver right here with the cap lifter or bottle opener. Opposite that, you have a can opener, which also has a very small flathead screwdriver at the tip, which is handy. All of the springs are nice and snappy. It's got a great snap, excellent tension on all these tools. And then off on its lonesome at the opposite end is an awl, which is good for all sorts of stuff. Scraping, if you need to pierce something, puncture something, put a hole in wood or leather, you can use it almost like a drill. You can use it through some thin metal, aluminum. Good stuff, good all-around tool. If any of you watch Knife Tech's videos, Knife Tech's here on YouTube, he's a big fan of the awl, and he's got sort of a meme, sort of an internet, a running joke going about the awl that he'll bring up every now and then that's quite funny to us knife folks. And so as soon as I got this and I looked at the awl, I thought of him right away. Another great guy, great channel. That's Knife Tech's. If you haven't watched him, please check him out. He's got a really cool video, great sense of humor. He's a lot better at making short videos that are, you know, easily digestible. They're funny, they're fast. I'm not so good at the fast part or the short part, but good stuff, good content. He's always bringing out new stuff, and he never disappoints. So definitely check him out as well. This wallet, which this might be new as far as my channel goes. I don't know if I've shown this yet. This is the Allet wallet, which of course the only thing that's in here right now is cash because I took all my cards out. Allet billfolds, finishedwallet.com, gives you a little bit of info. Nylon, I believe this is nylon. It's like a ripstop nylon overall construction. It's very flexible, so once you take your cards out, it is pretty floppy. If you don't carry any cards or if you just have business cards in your wallet, it's pretty bendy. Conforms very well, very similar to the big skinny wallets. What I like about this is it's actually quite understated. There's no branding on the outside, which is cool. The big skinnies have that big rubber logo, which a lot of folks don't like. This one has nothing on the outside. It's very slim. The cards just fit, but it does have room for plenty. I've got about, I think typically I keep about 5 or 6 credit card size cards in here, as well as my identification, medical insurance card, 1 or 2 gift cards. I keep receipts in the front pocket, and then of course I keep the cash in the back pocket there. And it's got plenty of room for everything and still very, very slim. I have no complaints whatsoever about this wallet. I picked this up from eBay for about 12 bucks, 11, 12 bucks. Fantastic deal, great price. If you like a good looking fancy wallet, you know, with high-end materials, this isn't going to be it. This is very, very simple. If you like your setup very minimal, very understated, if you're not really picky about the materials that it's made from, you just want something thin and functional, this one comes highly recommended. Just a basic bifold, billfold. You got the little hole in the window there for your ID. Makes it easy to grab it out. You can see it right through there. Most of the time folks don't ask me to take my ID out, so that's kind of handy. And then you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pockets. Oh, no. Oop, I'm totally lying. These are not pockets, and that was one of the things that I didn't know about this when I bought it. And when I went to put my cards in it, I tried to put some in the back, and obviously those are stitched. So there's nothing there, and I almost steered you wrong. In fact, that's why I double up the cards in each of the pockets to make up for that. And it works out just the same. It takes a little bit longer to get to some of the cards by having to reach behind another, but other than that, just fine. So sorry for the momentary fib there. But the Allet wallet, highly recommended. Cool, lightweight, thin, very inexpensive. Cold Steel, Inferno, pepper spray. I always forget the size, the capacity on this. 0.38 ounces or something like that. And it doesn't have a lot in it. It's pretty bulky. This I forget to carry often lately. So I used to carry this on my person everywhere, and the bulkiness of it sometimes causes me to forget. If I think of it, I grab it, but I don't always think of it, and it is always in my work bag. So I have to consciously go and grab it from my work bag and put it in my pocket. Hasn't been a big deal, but it is a good, decent size overall, especially if you carry it in a bag or in a purse or something all day. You'll never notice it. It's a great size for that. On your keys, in your pocket, a little bit chunky. It is doable. A lot easier to carry in the winter because I'll be wearing like a coat or a sweater or something, so it's easy to tuck away and forget about. But it is a good idea to have some sort of non-lethal form of defense, you know, where you can keep at least an arm's length between you and some sort of aggressor. And I'm just trying to be a little bit more conscious of carrying that lately because I keep forgetting, as I mentioned. But you know, I haven't used it, so I can't really say how effective it is. But I've seen Cold Steel's videos. I've seen some YouTube videos of individuals using it, and it looks like nasty stuff. So I imagine that stuff packs quite a punch. My phone is the Google Nexus 4. It's getting a little long in the tooth. We're coming up on about 1.5 years now that I've had it. It's made by LG, as you can see there. I've got it in a cheap little S-line case, just a little cheapy made in China. These cases probably are about $3 on eBay right now. Good phone. I'm not real particular about any facet of it. It just works really well. Lately, the battery seems to be having some issues with certain apps. Some applications that I run on this phone cause the battery to warm up quite a bit. I'm not sure why that is. I haven't really spent a lot of time troubleshooting it. But other than that little issue, and again, it hasn't done it until just now, which has been about 1.5 years into use, I've had no complaints with it. So good phone all around. I do kind of miss my Apple iPhone sometimes, and I may in fact go to an iPhone for my next cell phone, but for now this one's been working well, and I enjoy the Android operating system. My multi-tool here is the Leatherman SideClip. This is probably, in fact, I'll go ahead and say this is my absolute favorite multi-tool. I was asked by Stick to Drum, Mario, to make a review on this, so I will hopefully be able to get that up for you folks soon. Long discontinued, so it's not like you can run right out and get one at the store, but you know, you might get lucky, find one at a pawn shop, thrift store, swap meet, yard sale. Check out eBay. There's always at least 1 or 2 on eBay, and they tend to go up higher and higher in price as the years go by, but worth every penny. And I think that the construction of it, the shape, and the convenience of it with that beautiful sturdy pocket clip is it's a shame that they don't still produce this anymore. But Leatherman's gone for the more contemporary aluminum, you know, scale designs on their newer stuff, but this one still can't be beat. So you got a pocket clip on the outside, and then this is very similar to the original pocket survival tool, the PST, at least in the overall loadout and the way that it's shaped. You've got some small to medium pliers at the end there, the usual wire stripper, hard wire cutter. It's got some little, you know, teeth or whatever you want to call it to grip at the end there. The handles can be sort of uncomfortable, but for me, a multi-tool is just something that is used occasionally. This is not something that I would want to use constantly. If I was going to use pliers all day long, I would obviously go for a traditional contoured pair of standalone pliers. But for a multi-tool, I don't really worry about the thin pressed steel that you see here that can become uncomfortable in a really hard grip, because typically you're going to bring this out for 1 or 2 odd jobs here or there and put it away. So the comfort factor, it's not really that big of a deal for most casual users. So keep that in mind. I probably shouldn't go through the whole loadout on here. I'll just do it on a review, but I'll show you real quick. I'll just let you see what we've got in that handle. And then, of course, we have a traditional blade and a couple more drivers on that side. So that is the Leatherman SideClip. Super comfortable. I carry this in my back left pocket opposite my wallet. And it stays clipped, stays out of the way. When I sit down in a seat at a restaurant, in a car, anywhere, it does not get in the way. I don't end up sitting on it. It just sits to the outside edge of my pocket. So also very convenient, very comfortable. And for the price that you pay, even on eBay, I still think they're worth every penny, because this thing is built, you know, like the proverbial tank and will last you decades And I think it's still under warranty from Leatherman for a few more years, so you got that going for you as well. Keys are on a Leatherman cap lifter carabiner. If my camera will focus, there it goes. Nice sturdy cap lifter carabiner. I was previously using the Nite S-Beaners, and I still really enjoy those. I have some of those clipped to my hiking bag, which I also need to show you folks. I'm going to bring a review of that to you real soon. But there were a couple little things about the S-Beaners that I didn't like, and one of them was that there was little bits of bare metal that you can actually see right here, where the spring is pressed into the carabiner itself. These were not flush on the S-Beaners from Nite, and they would snag on my t-shirt or on my pants, and they were actually ripping up my clothes over time, and that sort of bugged me. I kind of wish they would address that. Some people complained that the gates on the S-Beaners were too loose. I never had that problem. I never lost any of the items. I showed on one video that you can actually take a little bit of shrink tubing and apply it over one of the gates to keep at least one of them locked all the time. And of course now Nite has a newer S-Beaner that has locking gates on either end. But either way, I switched to the Leatherman and I haven't looked back. Very comfortable, very slick design, really thin, doesn't weigh much, very strong gate on that one. So no problems whatsoever. I have a master link from a bicycle chain connecting that to a Twisty. This is a Twisty type keyring. Open this up from Lucky Line, that's the name of the brand. And it's called a Twisty because, as you see there, you twist it into a figure-8 shape to get it to open and close. And it stays locked very well. I've never had one of these come open on me. Works beautifully. A lot smaller, and the little fastener there is a lot thinner than some of the aircraft cables that you see out there today, which is something else I like about it. Just very understated, very minimal. On the keyring, I left my keys off. I'll just show you the business items here. We've got the Uncle Bill's sliver grippers. I use these probably every single day, if not every other day. They're just a very small little bit of folded over stainless steel. They've got a very nice precise tip there. And I use these for splinters. I get splinters all the time. Even when I wear my gloves, somehow I manage to jam some wood into my hands, and I end up needing this to pull these splinters out. But you'll find 101 uses for this in no time. Very inexpensive. They're under 10 bucks, usually hovering right about 6 or 7 bucks online. So if you can find these, go ahead and get them. I've had this on my keys clipped to this little, whatever you want to call it, that little housing, the little connector there. I've had it here for months, probably half a year. It absolutely will not come off. I've had some people say they've had theirs come off or they've lost them. My keys get tossed around, stuffed in my pocket, thrown around, and I've never had this even come loose. So I have every confidence in this little one. I don't know if I got lucky or what, but just absolutely no problems in how it connects to the little bit of housing there. SwissTech Utilikey. This is just some sort of ubiquitous item that's on my keys. It doesn't get used that often at all lately. I tend to grab another tool, but it's so small, and I just like having it on my keys. Very convenient. Occasionally I will use the Phillips that's on here, and occasionally I will use the very small flathead driver for sunglasses. So it does get used, just not that often, but again, at that size and that weight, there's no reason not to just have one on there. And then finally, this one here, this little pry tool you see here is the Sharpwerks Prybuddy. This is made by a knife and tool maker by the name of David Sharp. This was a gift given to me from a friend. I was asked to open this off camera, so I did not make a video when this item came in. However, I'm not sure if the person, I don't remember if they specifically said that I could mention their name when I went to show this on a video. So now that you see it, I'll just say that this did come from a friend online who I'm very grateful to, and I think that this is an absolutely beautiful pry tool. It does not have a bend in it like my micro widgie. I think it's the micro widgie that I carry that some of you have seen in my other videos, which up until now has been my favorite pry bar, but this one may in fact replace it permanently. It doesn't have that little bend, but the length of it, the size, is just, is wonderful. Very similar to the other tool, the micro widgie. Has this nice little bottle opener here, and then the back of it here, the little hole that you see that connects to your keys or your lanyard or what have you, can be used as a hex wrench. So that's also very convenient. And then you have the little forked or pronged end there, and then these two little ends can be used as a flathead driver if necessary. Very cool, very beautiful. I think he charges 20, 25 bucks, somewhere in that realm if you just go for the steel. This is just tool steel right here, so if you go for this one, I think reasonably priced for something that's going to last you forever as long as you don't lose it. So those are my key tools there. What did we not talk about yet? Just the knife, I believe. So this is probably my favorite knife of the past several months. And my knife collection has sort of kind of gotten away from me. It's gotten out of hand. I'm trying to cut back, so I've actually sold several knives. Many knives that have shown up in my past videos are now gone. I've actually sold them off. I still have way too many, at least by my own standards, and I'm planning on getting rid of some more, sort of narrowing it down to like maybe a couple dozen favorites, because the collection's just gotten sort of unwieldy, and I have so many that I don't get to carry a lot of them, and to me that just seems sort of disappointing. I'd rather pick maybe a core, handful of knives that I can rotate through, rather than just having some because I like the way they look and then just never end up carrying them. This is the Zero Tolerance 0550, as you can see there, designed by Rick Hinderer. This is the Generation 1 model, so this does not have the deep carry clip, although I do own the Generation 2 model as well. It's just not in this video. And that one has a deep carry clip, although I prefer this non-deep carry one. There's the lockup for you. We do have a frame lock. This is an aftermarket scale. This is blue G10. Traditionally, this comes with black. The blade on this is S35VN. Beautiful steel, seems to sharpen and hold an edge easily. Holds an edge for a long time, and it sharpens easily. And it's a very thick knife. It's got a good weight to it. I think it's just under 6 ounces, so pretty beefy, chunky, thick, hefty knife. But it cuts very nicely. The blade itself is actually not too thick. I have thicker blades. So this it's on the thicker side for your average everyday carry type knife for general utility. But the comfort of it, the way it fits in my hand, the length of the blade, and just the overall feel and the way that it performs has made it just an absolute favorite for me lately. So I've been carrying that one probably more than any other knife lately. And for the near future, I probably will continue to do so. Real quick, let me bring in some other knives. Of course, this video lasted way longer than I wanted it to. Some other knives I've been carrying, the ZT Zero Tolerance 0561 with the brown G10 scale. Sort of the bigger brother of the 0550. I actually prefer the length on this knife, but I like the handle a bit better on the smaller model, and I like that the other one does not have the flipper. As some of you already know, I'm not a big fan of flippers on knives. But other than that, extremely comfortable, excellent utilitarian blade, great for all sorts of tasks. Again, on the thick side for a lot of folks, but for everything that I need it for, it works beautifully, fits in my pocket comfortably. It is big, it is a long knife overall, so for some folks this might be a bit chunky if you have small pockets. Or if you're not used to carrying something kind of heavy. This one also coming in, I believe, around 6 ounces. Forgive me for not having that in front of me. But another great knife. The Chris Reeve knives, I almost wanted to say Spyderco. Sabenza 21. This is the large model, and this is the Insingo blade variant. This came from a great guy, a friend of mine here on YouTube and on Instagram, Tropic EDC. Definitely check him out. I don't know, he's been producing too many videos lately, but he's got a really cool collection, and he's a very nice guy, and it's really cool to see what he thinks about all the different blades that he has in his collection. This one he actually sold to me. He gave me an excellent deal on this knife, and I've been proudly carrying it and using it, and you can see from the handles here that I've not been babying this knife, and I've pretty much done that on purpose because all of the knives I've been carrying nowadays, I'm not shying away from carrying them at work or for any task. So if it gets some scratches on it, if it gets some wear, I welcome it. I'm not gonna hide a knife or spend XYZ amount of dollars on the knife and then put it away in a safe or in a drawer or something. That's just no fun, and life is way too short. So this is another favorite that I've been carrying lately. And then I'll bring in real quickly 2 other ones that have been seeing a lot of pocket time. These are Emerson knives, as you can see. One of them waved, one of them not. The waved one is the snubby model, the CQC 14. Nice diminutive blade there with a large handle, which I think is really cool. It looks really funny. This will get funny looks if you kind of open this up in front of other folks that know a thing or two about knives. It actually looks kind of weird, but that's part of its charm. It's part of why I like it. I just wish it wasn't waved. And then the CQC 7B, and this is the non-wave edition. And this one, again, weird sort of blade to handle ratio. Not necessarily as much on purpose as the snubby, but still, relatively small and short blade versus the handle size, but very comfortable. It is a Tanto blade, so not the best blade choice for a lot of tasks. It's also chisel ground, but you know, for most cutting tasks, you'll be fine with this. Not quite as nice for carving or chiseling. If you're doing some little fine cuts with the blade, this one doesn't work quite as well, in my opinion, versus a more traditional blade shape, like a you know, something with a curved belly, a drop point, or what have you. But still a very good choice, and another knife that I've been carrying quite often. So, without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. I think I touched on every item here. Haven't done one of these in a while, so hopefully I'll be forgiven for creating an extra long everyday carry video for you folks to peruse. If you have any questions about any of the items that I've shown in this video, please feel free to comment or private message, however you would like to contact me, and I will try and answer as quickly as possible. For those of you who've stuck around this long to hear this much of the video, please also keep in mind I'm on Instagram, and my Instagram account is under the same name, ItsAWonderfulKnife, and I'm a lot easier to contact on there, and it's a lot easier for me to reply back on there than it is through YouTube. It's just quicker for me to get back to you on my phone. So if you do have any questions and you want a faster answer than on YouTube, feel free to message me on Instagram and or comment on one of my photos on there or something. I'll see it a lot quicker and you'll get a response a lot faster. I hope you all enjoyed this video. I hope you found it a little bit entertaining. Again, any questions, comments, please let me know. Thank you so much for watching, and I will talk to you all soon. Bye.